Water's getting deep now. Water's getting deep now. Follow me around. Yeah. Can you let me down? Please don't let me.
Hello again, friends. Welcome back to my channel, Pages and Stitches. That's spelled pages, the number 3 stitches, both here and on Instagram. My name is Kelly, and I am finally bringing you my first update of the year 2025. Thank you so much for your patience. I had a lot to deal with in my life, with things at work and things going wrong and things going right and things I just had to get sorted, and I'm finally on top of it all. So here I am. Thank you for your patience. And don't worry, everything's fine. I'm just like, I had to crawl out from underneath a list of obligations, but I'm good. We're good. We're here. Today is Thursday, April 10th, I believe. So I have a lot to share with you because I have everything from my last update, which was beginning of January. So I've got just over 3 months worth of quilting and crafting to share with you, and I'm very excited about that. So thank you all for being here. If you're new here, thank you for clicking on my channel and giving me a try. There's a handful of new people here, so I so appreciate you stopping by to see what all this craziness is about. Thank you for my returning viewers. I'm so happy you came back and I didn't scare you away. And you're here to craft with me and share in our love of quilting. I want to start officially by saying a massive thank you to another YouTuber. Her name is Sherry McGill. She has her own quilting channel, which I will have linked down below. And she very kindly and very sweetly reached out to me through my email address a while ago and asked if she could do a tutorial on my paint chip quilt block that I had previously in my last video on my design wall. I had a scrap project that subscribers and I had worked together to name paint chips because they looked like hardware store paint chips. And she saw it, she enjoyed it, and she asked permission to teach a tutorial on it to just kind of help spread the word about how to use up our scrap stash, because for any quilter anywhere, we all know our scrap stash is insane and it grows overnight without us knowing. And so I was like, absolutely, go ahead. I more than happy to share the knowledge and the enjoyment of that project. So she taught a tutorial about it. She linked my YouTube channel and she sent a few people my way who left very nice, lovely comments. And I think a handful of you guys stuck around to see what I'm doing. So anyways, just a giant thank you to Sherry. I will have her channel linked, so go check her out. And yeah, thank you so much. So if you are new here, welcome again. I do quilting videos, but I also do a floss tube update for every quilting video I post. That should have gone up right before this one. So if you're a cross stitcher, or you've ever heard the word floss tube and you have interest in that hobby, definitely go check that out. We have a lot of fun over there, a lot of fellow cross stitchers and amazing people that I've met through that avenue. So if you wanted to do that, definitely feel free. I've got plenty of floss tube videos. There's one, it's 1-to-1 ratio for floss tube and quilting. Now, to start off, I like to begin every video with a reading update. Not necessarily a review or any sort of in-depth discussion on the books I read, but the Pages of Pages and Stitches is representative of my third passion, which is reading. So I have my quilting and my cross-stitching, and then I have my reading, which I do every day. I try to do a really good day. I do all 3 of those things in a day. But reading I try to do every day. And I know there's a lot of crossover between us crafty folk and the readers of the world. So I like to just give a quick rundown of what I've read between now and the last update, so that if you're curious or if you discover that we like the same kind of books, then we can connect that way too. I'm going to post pictures on the screen as I'm reading them out. I have a list that I'm going to reference, so if I'm looking down, that's because I'm reading off my list. I read a lot of books in the last 3 months. So, okay, here we go. Okay, I'll get through them fast. Okay, I read Lights Out by Navessa Allen. I read Briggs by Samantha Whiskey. I read Finally Mine by Lucy Score. I read Connor's Claim and Riordan's Revenge by Jolie Vines. I read Mile High, Caught Up, and Play Along by Liz Tomforde. I read A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle Jensen. The Ritual by Shantel Tessier. Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. Double Pucked and Puck Yes by Lauren Blakely. Court of the Vampire Queen by Katie Robert. The Chase by Elle Kennedy. Rook and Rebel by Kate Crew. Pen Pal by JT Geissinger. Part of Your World and Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Romancing the Duke by Tessier, and Pucking Around by Emily Rath. Like I said, I read a lot in the last couple months. A lot of sports romances. I do like a good sports romance, especially if it's hockey. Don't ask me why. I don't even watch hockey. All right, let's talk quilting, shall we? So I feel like I stitched my butt off this last couple of months, this last stretch of time. Let me explain. Because I have two FFOs, fully finished quilts, fully finished objects. And then on top of that, I have two fully finished tops, but not fully finished quilts, just the tops. And their backings together. They're ready to go to my long armor. So I'm excited to show you those. And then I have a new start, which you will see on the design wall behind me. And then I have a little bit of whip progress. So yeah, I'm excited to share all that with you. Now, saying it out loud, it feels like a short list, but I mean, fully finishing 2 quilts and then 2 quilt tops, that's a lot of stitching. And then I've got, you know, I did a lot. I know I did a lot. And I do have a little bit, just a tiny little bit of haul at the end, some purchases, just like a couple items. I can just 3 or 4. And I'll be sure to save the haul until the end, so that way if you are not at all interested in that and you just want to skip that part, then you can duck out before we get to that point. Okay, first, let's go over the FFOs, shall we? The fully finished objects. Okay, I'm going to start with my older project of the 2. And I'm going to do my best to show it off because it's giant and there's no way, no chance you're going to see all of it in the screen. So I'm definitely going to use picture aids. So the first fully finished object that I have to share with you today is, let me grab the pattern, this project here. There's the quilt in question. This is My Favorite Colors Moda by Moda, naturally. They designed it to use different combinations of their Bella Solids. I didn't use a single Bella Solid, so. But what I did was I used my own collection of fabrics that I sort of accumulated over time, and that is the navy, gold, and cream colorways. And they are all celestial themed, meaning they are all stars, moons, suns, anything kind of astrological, space-based, and all within that color value. So I'm gonna see if I can stand up on a stool so you can kind of see most of it. But like I said, this is a big quilt. The finished size on this quilt is 81 by 99. So it's basically like a large queen, small king. And try not to die here. All right. So here she is. Oh, she's sideways. Hang on. I'm try and show her from all the angles because there's just no way to show something this big. Okay, so here's the top. Like this block here that's right in front of me is a 36 by 36 inch block. That's big enough to be a baby quilt. You know what I mean? All right. Whoa. Okay. flip it to the bottom part so you can kind of see the bottom. And it's fabulous. It's fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna bring you in a little bit closer. So here's the backing. It's just a gold speckled ruby star print, or it's navy with a gold speckle is what I mean to say. There we go. And the quilting pattern, I believe, is called Melissa's Celestial, which made it perfect for the quilt. Because like I said, the celestial theme was what I was going with, and Melissa is my best friend's name. So it was like a sign from the heavens that this was the pattern I was supposed to use. So if you can see, it's these beautiful 4-point stars and like curly swirly clouds, right? It looks like the night sky, doesn't it? Oh, I love it. Let me see if I can find a better, here, I'll show you on this white patch. You can kind of see it better that way. Yeah, although it goes more like this. There we go. Yeah, it's perfect. I love it. And the long armor quilted it with a variegated blue. So it goes from like, I think the color of the thread is denim, but it goes from like deep navies all the way to this sort of lighter blue, which I have, you know, little smatterings of in the quilt itself. And she used the same thread on the back. And it's perfect and it's wonderful. And I love this quilt so much. And it's big enough to use on my bed. So I'm very happy with how it turned out. I bound it with, what is the name of it? It's Spark, that's what it's called. Ruby Star is a line of this fabric in like a million different colors to match all their designers' fabrics. It's this one here, this Spark. So some of them are metallic like this one and some of them aren't, but that's what I bound it with. And I think it came out fantastic. If you follow me on Instagram, I will have posted already all of the kind of wannabe like photo shoot photos that I took in my mom's backyard of the quilt. So feel free to check those out. But I will have put some of them in here so that you could see the full glory of the quilt. So I will have the pattern linked down below. Anything I can link down below, I will. Whether that's a fellow YouTuber or a designer or a shop, or you know, like a fabric line, anything that I can link, I will. If it's not there, feel free to reach out to me. I have my email listed below. You can message me on Instagram. You can write me a little note in the comment, and then I will try to answer any questions you have, or if there's anything missing as far as my information and you would like to know, just let me know. Okay, the next quilt is a surprise finish because it was not, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the quilt top wasn't even pieced together during my last update. All the blocks have been assembled and it was pieced together in quilt top. I was able to take it to my long armor and get it quilted. I got it back yesterday and I bound it, and now it's finished just in the nick of time for me to share with you guys today. So let me show you this one. Again, I'm gonna step up here and try not to die. I finished my Sawtooth Star quilt. This is much smaller than the other one, so I can kind of show you more of it. It's about 55-ish by 68, if I remember correctly. It's something random like that. And so it's just like a small lap quilt. And it's all based on this mini fat quarter bundle that I got from Joann's. Here's the bottom part. Ages ago. I got these fabrics that are in the center of all the Sawtooth Stars. They came in a little fat quarter bundle. Let me show you the back because I added a little banner of the leftovers. So I got a little fat quarter bundle. It was literally just 5 fat quarters. And I just kind of bought it because I thought it looked cool. But I had no intention of using them in anything specific. And then I just kind of decided, you know what? I really love making sawtooth stars. Don't ask me why. I know that's really weird. But I do. I think they are a simple block that has a big payoff visually. So I really enjoy a sawtooth star. So anyways, I decided I was gonna turn them into these blocks of sawtooths with the fabrics in question in the middle. And then I just pulled kind of coordinating pieces from my stash to help kind of fill it out. And the payoff was really great. Like, it looks really cute. So the backing fabric is this beautiful kind of silver swirl that does have like a silver glitter in it. All of the metallics, anything that features a metallic in here is a silver metallic, which is really cool. Actually, that's not true. There's one that's gold. Where is it? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But the rest of them are silver. Like, you can kind of see the shine. Very shiny and sparkly. Oh, here it is. This one has a gold fleck in it, but it also does have silver in it, so it worked. So yeah, it just worked out great. And I really liked the addition of the banner in the back with all the squares that I didn't use of the fat quarters. So I love it. I love it so much. And then the quilting pattern, I don't know what it's called. I didn't pick this one for the name, but it's got these floating orbs and like swirly spirals that kind of reminded us when we were discussing and planning out. She said that, you know, it kind of reminded her of like planetary bodies, which was perfect for the theme of this quilt, right? And I couldn't agree more. So that's what we went with. And we used a blue to gray variegated on the front, and then just like a flat gray, like a one-tone gray on the back, so that you can't really see it on the back. But yeah, turned out fabulous. And it was a surprise that it was going to be done for this update, because I did not think it would be. I asked her last minute for an appointment for this one, and she had an opening, so I jumped on it. Man, wrangling quilts for YouTube and like this tiny little camera, which is my phone, is actually kind of a workout. I need water. Okay, now let's go over the 2 top finishes. So I'm gonna insert a picture of what my design wall looked like the last time we did an update. It was all border to border, top to bottom of my full design wall of paint chip blocks. And I hadn't even finished assembling all of my scraps. My paint chip blocks, if you're unaware, were entirely assembled with scrap fabric. I had a giant scrap stash of strips that were kind of significant enough to not throw away, but still like small enough that I didn't really know what to do with them. And so it just kind of came to me that I could like assemble them together to get a sort of gradient style block with them. And so what I did was I kind of divided them into colors, made little gradients out of them, and I cut the widest block that I could with my smallest strip, and it ended up being 4 3/4 inches wide, unfinished. And then I just kind of kept going until I had an arbitrary height, which was 15.5 unfinished. And then that's what I replicated with all of my other paint chip blocks. And I just tossed them up there and got a random kind of mosaic look with those fabrics. Now, I was silly enough to believe that I could get one big quilt out of it, and I guess I could have, but it would have been a giant quilt, and I did not want to have a giant quilt. So what I ended up doing was I finished out all of my scrap stash. I divided them up into kind of like color families, counted them up, and I was able to kind of math it out, and I decided that what I was gonna do was make smaller quilts out of it. So I got 2 smaller quilts that are about 60 by 60. And then I got one that's a little bit larger, that's about 69 by 75. So I finished the 2 smaller ones. I finished sewing all of the quilt top bits, all the blocks for the quilt top together. And I got backing fabric for both of those, and they are ready to go. They are hanging out over here next to me, but they're ready to be put away in the closet until their long arm appointment comes up in the next couple months. So I'm gonna show you the 2 that I finished, and then we'll go over the one that I didn't. So I'm gonna insert a picture of the first one. This one I'm calling my red paint chips. Obviously it's not just red, it's the warm tones. It's mostly red, orange, yellow, and brown, but I do have a small smattering of green and pink to kind of fill out the called for amount to get that size. And here it is. So this is the one that's about 60 by 60. It's something like 59.5 by 60. And I think it came out really cool. I really enjoyed kind of puzzling together sort of what pieces were gonna go where. Oh, I keep knocking pieces off my design wall. Oh well. That was actually like a pretty decently hard challenge or challenging challenge, if you will, because of the fact that each block is its own gradient. And so some of them blend into the next block very well and some of them don't. So you kind of have to play and flip them around. So puzzling, basically what I was trying to say, I think, was puzzling these together was a unique challenge, and I actually really enjoyed it. And I did get backings for this quilt top and for the next one. Obviously we know our Joann's is going out of business. Now, a lot of quilters have strong opinions about Joann's and the quality of their fabric, but I really enjoyed its existence because of the fact that it was a good option for people who quilted on a budget, or who just needed to run in and get a quick notion, or who didn't have a local quilt shop to get their fabrics from or their supplies from. So it is kind of a bummer that Joann's is no longer with us. The demise of Joann's is a sad day. But I say that because I went in before mine closed, and I got a couple pieces of yardage to use as the backings for my paint chip quilts. So here's the one that I assembled for my warm tones, my red paint chip quilt. It's got the red, orange, and yellow flowers, even a little bit of the white and brown, and the green in the background. So it kind of was perfect because it's all of the colors that are in that particular quilt. So I just got 4 yards of this, and it is all stitched together and ready to go and be a backing for that quilt. So the next one, again, I'll insert a picture. This is my blue paint chip quilt. It is mostly blue, teal, turquoise, green, black, I believe is all the colors. Yeah, and the way this one came together, I adore. I'm not done with this project yet, but I think so far this one's my favorite. So let me get back on the stool so I can show you the full thing. Okay, so here is the top. We got the dark in one corner, and then it goes kind of to the lighter blues and the teals, and then down into the greens in the opposite corner. This one I really, really like. I think it came together really, really well. Yes. And again, it was just like putting together pieces of a puzzle and sort of rotating them around to see what fit the most. I would put them all up on the wall and then step back, and there was even times where I was like, I'm gonna sleep on it because I'm not sure about my decision, and then I would change it in the morning. So eventually what happened was, honestly, I could have shuffled them around for ages and then still never been perfectly satisfied. So I just kind of decided, it is what it is. You got to be loosey-goosey with it, which is a lesson I think for all of us. You just got to be a little bit more forgiving of your own choices whenever you're crafting. So that's what I did. I sort of gave myself a little glass of wine and a moment to breathe, and then I was like, it looks fine, it looks great, and then just put it together as it was, and I think they did turn out really good. So let me show you the backing for the blue quilt. So I bought a batik for this one because it has all the colors. It's got obviously the blue and the black and the teal, and there's moments of like green and stuff. It doesn't have the light green necessarily, but it does have green in it. So I thought this is perfect for the blue paint chip quilt. So I got another, it's the same size as the red one. So I got another 4 yards and put it together, and it's ready to go to the quilter. So the one that I am missing is my larger one. That is gonna be my purple paint chip quilt. So it's all of the purples, the pinks, the whites, and the grays, I believe. So I have all of those blocks assembled and set off to the side. I, for a while, was like, yeah, I'll keep going and do the purple one, but I just kind of was like, I need to work on something else. I need a different challenge for my brain for a minute, because the puzzling of getting the top together could burn you out if you allow yourself to get frustrated by the constant moving around. So I just needed to step away from the project for a bit, and then I'll come back to it before the next time we come together. My intention is to have this one assembled and ready to go, if not sooner. But I will show you the backing I got for it. That part's assembled. So I found this lovely, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to shake the table there. Okay, I got this lovely sort of modeled, almost like faux hand-dyed, faux batik kind of fabric, which is all purples and pinks. And they're perfect. So there's no gray. There's just like some light moments, but there's no white. But that's okay, because I think the purple and the pink are the star of the show in this quilt top. So that's what I wanted my backing to match. So the next time we meet, this one should be all finished, all assembled. Maybe not fully finished, but mostly finished. Okay, so now let's get to the star of the show on the design wall behind me. I am in love with this quilt so much for a number of reasons. Number one, it's just kind of stunning. So this is called Ether. It was designed by Patty Murphy. I will have Patty Murphy's Etsy link down below where you can purchase the pattern, as well as watch her tutorials and purchase an acrylic tool for the orange peels. And I definitely want to make sure I give her credit, but I did not purchase her pattern or use her acrylic template because I am using different sized diamonds in the background than she has in her pattern. And I'll tell you why in just a second. All of the background fabrics are hand-dyed fabrics, and they were all hand-dyed by my very dear friend Amy of Fiber Arts Amy. She has 2 YouTube channels. She's got one for cross stitching, which is her Fiber Arts Amy channel, and then she has one called Quilting with Fiber Arts Amy. I'll have them both linked. So she hand dyes and sells cross stitch fabric, but she also includes quilting cotton. And ages and ages ago, she gave me a cute little like sampler bundle of fat quarters of her hand dyed fabrics. And I searched high and low for a pattern to use them with. I wanted to make sure they were the most beautifully displayed I could make them. And then I came across Ether, and I was like, that's the one. But I knew I didn't have enough. So I went on her shop, which is Oak Crown Studios. Again, I'll have the shop link down below. And I purchased like 15 more hand-dyed fat quarters. I think I used a total of like 26 in this thing. But I wanted to make sure that I used each of those fat quarters to the max. So I cut out whatever size square I could get 4 of to use as much of those fat quarters, each of those fat quarters as I could. So that came to 8.5 inch squares, 8 inch finished. And Patty Murphy's pattern does not use 8.5 inch squares. And her orange peel acrylic template is not made for an 8.5 inch square. I believe they're like 10 inch or 12 inch squares. Don't ask me for certain because I don't know. But I know they're not this small. So what I did was I just drew inspiration from her pattern, and I still want to, like I said, make sure I give her credit for it because it was her idea. I'm kind of commandeering her design and sort of altering it, but I do want to give her credit for it. And then as far as the orange peel goes, I just measured my dimension, which was roughly 8 inches, and then created my own template with my own plastic like template maker that you could sort of cut and trace your own template shape out of. So that's what I'm using to make the orange peels. Now the orange peels themselves are all florals. Well, for the most part, there's some that are near floral or floral-esque, like maybe they're batiks. Yeah, I've got the top, all the diamonds anyway, assembled, and I'm working on filling in all of the little orange peel slices. I think I have just a little bit over half done. So I counted it out. I need something like 170 orange peels, and I think I have 90 maybe up there right now. So a little bit over half. It's gonna take a while. So I've been just kind of combing through my stash to find various florals that I want to put on my quilt. And I've been doing my best. So far, I have not repeated a fabric, but I know I'm going to have to because I just don't have that many. But that's fine because I have a ton of like Kafes and Tulas and Anna Marias that you can, you know, sort of fussy cut different colors out of. And that's what I'm gonna have to do. But you guys, tell me, let me back up a little bit. Tell me that is not stunning. My Lord. Oh, I can't help it. Like, I don't want to take it off my design wall. It's so pretty. So the next step is going to be to hide the raw edges. After I finish, I guess the next step technically would be to finish finding all the orange peels and cutting them out and getting them in the right places. Then the next step is going to be hiding the raw edges of my orange peels. So you can do that in a number of different ways, and she does have some tutorials on how to do it. You can do needle turn applique, which I don't really want to do because I don't really feel like hand quilting. You can do like a fusible double-sided interfacing, like steam-a-seam. That way you don't have to hide your raw edges. I don't want to do that because I'm going to take this to a long armor, and any sort of fusible interfacing is going to add bulk, especially like maybe even a gluey or a gummy texture, and I don't want to do that. So the method that I'm going to do is I'm going to use sew-in interfacing, which is this stuff here. I got this from Pellon. It is a lightweight interfacing. So this is a sew-in interfacing, meaning it doesn't have any glue on it. It's basically just an added piece of sturdiness to give just a little bit of structure to your fabric. And what you do, find one, is I've traced my template onto the back of this fabric and then just roughly cut approximately 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch all the way around. So it's kind of a rough cut shape. And I'm gonna cut the same shape with my sew-in interfacing, and then I'm going to put it facing the right side of the fabric and then trace with my needle and stitch all the way around on my drawn line, which is the actual shape of the orange peel that I need. And then what I'm gonna do now, so that'll be stitched together with the sew-in interfacing here, and then I'm gonna snip a little line up the middle and flip it inside out so that my seams are then hidden inside the orange peel like this, iron it flat so that my seams are hidden, and then I can take it over here and top stitch it. Let me move my stool because I don't need it anymore. And then once I have it flipped, my raw edge is hidden, I'm gonna top stitch it all the way around. That's the method I'm gonna use. That's what I think is easiest for me. I will find any way to be as lazy as possible when it comes to my quilting, which honestly would have been more of like the steam-a-seam method, but I just wanted to reduce the bulk and like the stiffness that a steam-a-seam or fusible interfacing would have created. So I'm gonna do this method instead. That way I don't feel guilty when I take it to my long armor. And then Patty Murphy did say that if you, no matter which method you do, you can actually cut out the background from underneath your orange peel to also help reduce bulk. I'm not gonna do that because I could see that going wrong for me in a million different ways, and I don't wanna do that. So I'm just gonna do the lightweight interfacing, and it is very lightweight. Let me open it up so you can see quite how thin it is. It's almost like, yeah, look, it's very thin, it's like tissue paper, but fabric, you know what I mean? Very, very lightweight. So that's the method I'm gonna use. And between now and the next time we meet, the plan is to have finished cutting out all of my orange peels, and then at least have started the process of getting them attached to the interfacing and then flipped and top stitched down. That way, whenever we meet again, hopefully there will be a different quilt on the design wall. I like to have a different quilt on the design wall every time we visit, especially since there's typically like 3 months between each update. So keep your fingers crossed that I'm gonna complete all my goals. Yeah, so that's it, that's Ether. I'm very excited about it. It's gorgeous, very proud of it. Every time I make a quilt, I kind of weigh whether or not it's gonna be kept in my stash, like in my home supply of quilts, or if I'm gonna give it away or like gift it to somebody. And this one I think is sentimental enough and beautiful enough that I'm probably just gonna keep this one for myself because I really love it. If you can't tell by my paint chips project and now this one, like I love a gradient, and anything that's bright and vibrant and loud and rainbow, love it. Okay, moving right along. I have one other quilt that I worked on in the interim, and it was just a small little update, and I'll insert a picture here because I don't have a color printout of it. This is Monarch by the Cloth Parcel, and I am using the Celtic Fairies line designed by Lewis and Irene. Unfortunately, I don't believe it's available anymore. I purchased it a while ago. I'm like 99% sure it's not available anymore. And instead of a white background, I am using a Bella Solid called Galactic, which is like a slate blue that really complements the fabric line. So here's the 4 blocks that I had previously made with this fabric line. I love the subtle metallic shimmers in the fabrics and the fairy woodland element, and I love it. Love the thistles. I did have to supplement with one of my own fabrics, so I have this dark navy. You actually have seen it featured in my Sawtooth Stars because I have a ton of this stuff and I've been using it in a million quilts. So I put it in here. I needed one more fat quarter to complete the fabric requirements for this quilt. So I made 2 more blocks. I'm just kind of working at a casual pace on this quilt. I have everything cut out, and it's kind of in a little box that sits next to my sewing machine. So that way, whenever I have like moments in between projects or whenever I'm looking at it and I just kind of want to knock out a big old quilt block real quick, I do that. So I made 2 more and I'll show you those real quick. Okay, here's the first one. And I just kind of randomly, all of the fat quarters got cut the same way, and then you kind of mix and match to create the different block collections. So I just kind of randomly grouped together various fat quarters. So this one's got the sort of woodland face the tree face in the light purple. It's got the dancing fairy print in the light purple, the Celtic knot flower in the light blue, and then I think this is the unicorn. Yeah, the unicorn print with a Celtic knot in the navy. And there's that galactic as the background. And here is the next one that I made. Oh, here's a really good shot of that. Here, let me turn it. Of that like woodland spirit tree face. That's what it looks like. Whatever his name is. So it's got the light blue thistle print, the light tan tree face, the light purple Celtic knot flower, and then the tan dancing fairy print there with that galactic background. I'm really excited to see this one put together. I think it's going to be kind of a little bit of a surprise for me because of the fact that I'm just kind of making them sporadically. I don't have them splayed out on a design wall. They're just kind of collecting over to the side. So when I finally get to put them all next to each other on the design wall, I hope it's going to be a big like payoff for me, because it's, you know, I'm doing little bits and pieces as I go, and then one day I'll reach a point where they're all done and I can just like visualize them together, right? So I don't have a backing for that quilt yet because I'm not ready for it. I don't have a backing for this one yet. It'll probably be some big floral, like a cave for a Anna Maria Horner or something. But those are all my whips that I worked on. I finished 2 quilts, finished 2 tops, new start, and whip progress on Monarch. So, I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but I did a lot of sewing. A lot of assembling of the quilt tops. Binding is not exactly a fast process when you do it yourself. There was a lot of stitching here. Lots of shuffling and zhuzhing. That's what we call it in the family, zhuzhing of the colorways to get them in the right sort of layout that looks really good. I really try very hard with my color composition when it comes to any quilt, but especially one like this where it's obviously leans very heavily on color balance. So I did a lot of that. So yeah, that was my progress. This is the point where I'm gonna go over the little few purchases that I made. So if you are ready to sign off and you don't really care about that part, thank you so much for hanging out. And we'll see you next time. If you're still here, let me show you the other couple of things that I bought in the meantime. So real quick, I just did, since Joann's was going out, I picked up a couple of fat quarters. I found this really cute peace sign fat quarter. Very cute. This reminds me of Ruby Star a lot. It looks a lot like a Melody Miller kind of print, which I love. She's one of my favorite fabric designers. And then I had these 2 sort of rainbow paint groovy kind of fat quarters that I think could be really fun in a quilt at some point in the future. Okay, I have 3 more things to show you. So first, I did get a fat quarter bundle. It is a mini fat quarter bundle, and this is called the Dandy Duo Petite. So it's I think 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12 fat quarters as opposed to like 20 to 24 of this lovely springy, summery floral. It reminds me of like lemonade and watermelon fat quarters, and I didn't buy it with a plan in mind. I just thought that the colors were really calling to me. And I love anything with the floral on it. Let's be realistic here. So I was like, all right, let's put that in the cart. So I have this in my stash ready to go for a project in the future. And then I bought 2 layer cakes. I really have leaned more into pre-cut quilting, whether it's a fat quarter bundle or a layer cake or a jelly roll. If you're a lazy quilter like me, it's so nice to have your fabric already like portioned for you. So I went ahead and I perused the pre-cut section at Fat Quarter Shop, and I found 2 layer cakes that I really like. The first one is this one here. This is Blush and Butterscotch for Riley Blake, Simple Simon and Company for Riley Blake. And it is this beautiful, this one has a preview on the back, this beautiful like blush and cream and gold collection of really soft, dainty kind of florals that I think is just precious. I kind of got this thinking this would be like a good fabric collection for like baby quilts or just like a soft spring feminine quilt. I didn't buy it with any specific project in mind, but I just thought it was calling to me. So I went ahead and I listened. And then this next one is a little bit of a departure based on what I've shown you today, I think, because it's neutrals, but with a twist. Let me show you. I got Shimmer by Zen Chic for Moda. Now it doesn't have a preview on it on the back, so I will insert a picture of what the full collection looks like, but it's all neutrals, but with shimmer, which if you know me, you know I'm a sucker for metallic fabric. I mean, that's very true. And all of these have like a very soft, beautiful metallic on it. And it's got just like a, I mean, it's Zen Chic, so it's very calming, but also stylish. So I'm gonna do something probably very modern with this one. I don't necessarily know what yet, but there's 1,000,001 layer cake patterns out there. I am fluent in Pinterest, so I have several designs and patterns on Pinterest that I could peruse through. So I intend to do it, fully intend to do that. And then I may or may not have a new start or 2 the next time I see you guys. I didn't work at all on my Dark Forest sampler that I designed, and I didn't work at all on my Siren collage quilt from Laura Heine. I have everything still pulled and set aside for those. I just didn't find the time to do anything with them because I was pushing out finishes left and right. So hopefully I'll have more progress for both of those the next time we meet. So that's the plan, is to at least get my purple paint chip top put together, to have finished this top, hopefully, probably have a backing picked for it, do some more work on Monarch, do some progress on Dark Forest and on Siren, and then maybe potentially, possibly, probably start at least one more quilt with the things that I've purchased. So if you have any questions at all about anything I've said, like I said, reference the description. If you can't find an answer there, reach out to me and I'll do my best to get you one. Even if that answer is, I'm sorry, it's not available anymore. Yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you so much. If you've stuck around to this point, I truly appreciate hanging out with you guys every time we do this. Thank you for sharing your love of the craft with me. And I'll see you guys next time, probably around June, July, somewhere like midsummer. Okay, happy stitching, happy quilting. I wish you health and happiness, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Close your eyes for a minute, close your eyes for a second. I won't change my mind. Water's getting deep now.